Good morning everyone and welcome to day 6 of the water type event, which I am spending at Snowdrop Tundra because presumably there's a chance to find Delibird here, hungry, and potentially also just as an added encounter. Delibird is usually only available when it's dosing, but during certain events then you get some supplemental encounters from other sleep styles. So let's hop right into this sleep report. Hopefully I get a dosing. This whole week has been snoozing and slumbering, so I'm kind of hoping that eventually we get the elusive dosing and the even more so delusive Delibird, which just does not want to show up. It's a long sleep. Let's see it, everyone. It's balanced, of course. So we got balanced on top of the event. So I don't know if there's a chance here for the Delibird, but at the very least, I do have the Drowsy to really get a couple Delibirds if they so choose. We just have to see. There it is. Let's go. Delibird in the house. Got Lucario too for the candies. I do also like the Slowpoke. I decided to invest in that Slowking that I've been talking so much about this week. It's just queued up in my Candy Boost team. So there's the Delibird. Let's have a look at it. Hopefully there are 2 here on the field so that I can guarantee the capture. Even if it is hungry, I won't be using any Ultra Biscuits. Those are specifically only for Suicune. So there's one Delibird. There's the Slacking. I'll take the candy now that I have a really strong Slacking, despite the fact I was very negative on that Pokemon for the longest time. And still kind of am. I just have it now because it's funny. So, I don't remember where I left off the last Delibird. It might not even have more than 3 points, in which case it is very unlikely that I'll be able to befriend it today. So we just have to see what happens. Either way, it is progress, and so hopefully into tomorrow I'll be able to do a dosing session. Hopefully. And that Delibird shows up. Is the Delibird going to be hungry? Oh, give it to me, game. Oh, come on. Close. Okay. Yeah, it's not a single biscuit fed to the Delibird. Big oofs. Alright, let's see what the appetite on this Delibird is. I had some terrible luck last week, which I didn't record. That would have been not good. I was not happy. The Delibird kept getting full after the second biscuit, so let's see if this is a good boy or what. 3 points. Alright, guess that's it for that Delibird, and you know what? I really am in a biscuit drought, so sorry Togepi, you can show up hungry some other time. You like showing up hungry anyway. And, yeah, this Slowpoke. The thing is, I don't want to spend any more diamonds for a while. I kind of overspent a little bit in Season 1 of the Nirtheart Pokémon Sleep videos, so still a bit on the back end on that. So let's see. I do have a lot of sleep points, that is true. But I don't really need the Slowpoke. I am not going to hunt any of these other ones either. Cubone I got. This was a dud session, man. Not going to lie. At the very least in the future, maybe in a couple weeks or so, I do want to keep the free-to-play series a distinct parallel video series for a while. And then we can merge the videos at some point. But for today, I think we should take a deep dive into my bag instead. Some of you guys have been requesting this. I was kind of waiting for a session like this. And so now we can have a look at some of those Pokemon I found over the summer because I actually found a lot of really good ones. And yeah, I am using Focus Incense this weekend to try to get as close to rank 60 as possible. I think that should be fairly easily done during Suicune, but it would be kind of nice to have it before Suicune just because there's a lot of research EXP in the Suicune event that can be converted into dream shards, and I'm sure I'll be needing a lot of dream shards in the future. I'm always on the short end because I invest so widely into Pokemon. And so yeah, into tomorrow, I am doing Focus Incense and the Luck Incense here on the primary account. I have been trying to run the Dedenne today, not particularly successful, and there's the tails. I had an energy issue this week and I just was not able to solve it because of the event restrictions. You miss out on the hungry in the second session because it only happens in the first session, and the nap is always the first session, so yeah. Okay, so the way that I build my teams here is on the very left, I have Help Me Pick. And this is a very useful placement because the main team that I'm actually using for the most part is in the second slot. So whenever I want to have an idea as for adding another member or something like this, I can just head over to Help Me Pick. And this is just a slot that's random and shuffled quite a bit. So you can see that the Walrein, naturally, is the best berry specialist here at Snowdrop Tundra. I also have the Tyranitar that is close in second because of that berry finding and the high level. And then Ditto comes in fourth. One of the reasons why the Raichu is overtaking the Ditto is because Ditto is pretty slow. And Raichu is also pretty good, even though Grape Berry is quite low in value. And then Typhlosion is coming in at a fifth spot. The other thing I tend to do is to just filter and see how my ingredient specialists are doing. Obviously, the Tyranitar and the Ditto is somewhat less of an ingredients-focused build since they both have berry finding, so it's naturally for these to show up lower on the list. I have showcased this Blastoise before. It's not a Pokemon that I got recently, but it's a Pokemon that I, not too long ago, managed to level up to level 50, which is a place where I will plateau it for a while. I do have a AAA Absol, so I don't really need Cacao, but at some point in time I will push it to 60. It's not a priority. And once I do push it to 60, it's also not a problem for Milk because my Sylveon is ABA. We can bring up Sylveon in the widget. ABA, so milk, cacao, milk. I get a lot of cacao and milk from the Sylveon, and so probably tag team Blastoise Sylveon is going to be a strategy long term for dessert weeks. I've talked a lot about how I'm really behind on desserts as a dish category. I don't have eggs, I don't have corn, and I don't have apples. So it's a little bit rough right now, but eventually this is going to be one of the best Pokemon. Helping bonus, Ingredient Finder M, Speed of Help up, and Helping Speed M is a great combo. And then, yeah, the Gengar here. Gengar overall is among the best Pokemon in the game, even though the ingredient list is kind of power crept by Quagsire. Gengar, I was about to say Greninja. Greninja is not in the game. That would be pretty cool though. But yeah, Gengar is very strong overall. It's just super, super fast. Even though ingredient rate is 16%, if you can somehow balance that out a little bit with some of the traits, like here, Ingredient Finder M, Ingredient Up Nature, Speed S, and Speed M, with some added inventory eventually. And I actually don't mind the Sleep EXP bonus at level 100. That's just going to be a funny thing that's happening eventually. And so for me personally, I don't care too much about the ABA on the Gengar here. Mushrooms overall is a very valuable ingredient. You can always tuck those in the bag and use them for later. It won't be 100% optimized for the current week that you're in if you don't need the mushrooms, but for the most part, I think it's kind of working. What I can also do with this is, let's say I have a curry week by chance, and I'm actually spending the week gathering up resources for my Ninja Salad. Then this Herb Gengar is gonna tuck away some mushrooms while it helps me out with those curry dishes, which tend to use herbs more than any of the other dish types. So hoping to get this a level 60 eventually, and then at the very least it's going to be super cracked. And then the last Pokemon here in the ingredient list is this Venusaur. This has been a staple on the channel for a good while. You see I caught it August 30th, it's a year ago, and it is incredibly strong. It's got all the sub skills that you want on a Venusaur. I think the only thing missing here would be helping bonus or berry finding. Aside from the ingredient list, and to an extent I don't mind the ingredient magnet S mixed list here. It's kind of just a cheap Vaporeon. So yeah. And then I also like to sort by the skills every now and then to see how I'm doing. And it's very strange to me how Ampharos is above Sylveon in the way that this is calculated. I do wonder if it's just on pure RP. It's not. You see, it's very strange. I don't... Maybe it's because, well, Ampharos is level 7, while Sylveon is level 6. And so, yeah. It's interesting that way. So, the meat of this video will be to pop into my actual bag after I explain the whole setup. So I got way carried away by some of my best Pokemon. So yeah, on the very left, help me pick day team, night team. Weekend is just the night team one. I don't really care what happens that week. I am working on these Pokemon. All of these 4 are really, really, really strong. I know that Altaria overall is not among the best Pokemon. We can bring Altaria up in the widget here. It's very slow. It's got a very high ingredient rate for a berry specialist. And one of the things that evens it out a little bit is this Charge Energy S with a very high skill rate. So it heals itself. And at that point, what you can do is you just run a full team of berry specialists that have Charge Energy S, which is my future plan for whenever there is a favored berry for the dragon type. So we can also scroll quickly through these. We have Cloud 13, Helping Bonus, Berry Finding S, Skill Trigger S is nice due to that main skill. It's got main skill chance up, ingredients down. So even though speed up would be preferable on most berry specialists, the fact that I can sub-skill seed at level 50 and get that 1.5 multiplier on the already high 6%, making it a 10% chance more or less for Altaria to proc its skill every time I collect is ridiculous. So with that inventory later on too, I have a very high chance of getting that proc once I do hit the Altaria, so that's pretty good. And then this Altaria, in my opinion, is my overall best. It's got berry finding, and then it's got helping speed coming in at level 75 with the adamant nature. It's also got triple eggs, so to an extent I'm almost wondering if I shouldn't go for Delibird, but at this point in time it's a sunk cost thing, so had I found these Altaria before I started the Delibird hunt, I might have never gone on that Delibird hunt. And then I don't mind the ingredient finder S at level 100. I think that's just whatever. It's going to be a while until anyway. Have another berry finding helping bonus Altaria. This one's the same ingredient list as the first helping bonus berry finding Altaria. It's got double beans. And I don't mind the skill level up S, and to an extent the nature here being neutral is just fine because helping bonus and berry finding is such a strong combo on a berry specialist. Then we have this Dodrio, and actually we're not going to talk much about it because we'll come back to that in a second. Last team here is Candy Boost, so I just have a setup here for the queue. The queue starts at the very left, so the next Pokemon I really want to utilize the Candy Boost feature for is the Slowking. And I talked at length about this Slowking earlier in the week, and so I won't talk too much about it, but I find that Slowbro and Slowpoke show up all the time, and so to an extent I'm almost wondering if there is a part of the metagame that we haven't considered, being the availability of candy. I know that in general terms, you can say that, for example, Sableye, Kangaskhan, a lot of Pokemon, they are very rare, so you shouldn't invest in them. But I've never heard the argument of this Pokemon has a lot more candy available than average, and so therefore is having a strength from that. And I feel like Slowbro and Slowking is one of those Pokemon. They show up everywhere for me. And maybe we can poke into the candy jar as well, just to have a brief overview of just like what's going on there too. So with this Slowking, It's very skill focused. The best combo, in my opinion, is main skill chance up nature, skill trigger M, and helping speed M. This, in addition, has helping speed S. It's got some inventory, which is super nice now with the skill specialist buff, where you can bank 2 triggers only for skill specialists, and that only happens if you have sufficient inventory. And then on top of that, it has double tails, which is a requirement for investing in Slowking almost, and sleep EXP bonus. So this is just completely stacked. The only thing negative here is the EXP gains down, and that's only a short-term thing because eventually you don't really care too much about it. So hopefully at some point in time I find a really strong Suicune, because this will be a very good addition to that Suicune combo. And yeah, we don't have to talk much about these. I am going to hop into the bag now, and then I'm going to sort by the date, because then what's happening is some of the Pokemon that I've then invested in later on just shows up as high level, and we can take a look at them. So let's see how far back in time we need to go. I think we mentioned the Venusaur a little bit, but it's fun to revisit. I think probably... So given the fact that I caught an Entei here, this is probably May still, June, something like that. June 3rd. I think it was like middle of something. Did we feature this one at some point? Probably. It's kind of fun to look back at it though. It's a shiny, neutral, helping speed Ekans, not really anything. I don't have a single useful shiny. Did you guys see Brovinnie's video the other day? He found a spotless shiny Quagsire. You can't ask for more in a triple mushroom shiny Quag, and he got real lucky. Probably showcase this at some point too, but it is interesting with my Sylveon. Showcased that a bunch of times, and essentially if you add up all the types for the evolutions, you have 9 types. In Pokemon there are 18 in total. So if you have a Pokemon of each of the evolutions, then you can do the candy conversion trick. So personally am trying to collect all the Eevees at a cheap cost, so whenever they show up hungry and I don't have them, I try to get a hold on them, because then you essentially just trade a couple biscuits for that candy conversion. And for me, I am going to still hunt for a long-term Vaporeon. It would be really nice to have that on my Suicune team, and it's just taking a lot of time. I probably have a Eevee at this point that I could use. I just want to hold off until I actually have all the resources, and then I can compare the Eevees then. My friendship level on Eevee is like 70. It's really, really high. It's stupid. But yeah, so got a lot of shiny Pokemon during the summer, and then I had just a 2-month drought. Very strange. And so this Eevee could potentially be used for some Sleep EXP bonus stacking if I'm really desperate. But aside from that, it doesn't really do anything, unfortunately. The Venusaur here was a gift. I was very happy when I came across this. It was even caught as an Ivysaur. It was hungry. I fed it a premium biscuit just because, and I caught, and it was triple honey, and it actually has some good sub skills, which is ridiculous because it was caught as an Ivysaur, so the friendship level there is not 10. That berry finding is completely random. And then I have some more good sub skills, so berry finding, inventory, ingredient finder S, and a neutral nature. I don't care too much about the nature in this case because, like, ingredient specialists, you want ingredient up, but on berry specialists, you want ingredient down. But what do you do with the ingredient specialist that also has berry finding? It gets a little bit awkward because one steals from the other. And when the ingredient list is perfect like this, where only thing you're getting is honey, you can very narrowly use that on your team whenever you just need honey, and then also get that extra berry finding. So for me, this is perfectly fine. If I can get a mono ingredient list with at least 1 or 2 helpful skills, then that's all I need. So very happy with this Venusaur. Yeah, I did find a shiny Delibird. I think still, let's see, June 23rd. I don't know when I went on my summer break to work on my website, but yeah, this one's also not really doing much for me. Shiny Slowbro. This is actually not bad. It's just got a bit of an unfortunate ingredient list. I don't care too much about cacao. I have my Blastoise, I have my Sylveon, I have my Absol. But overall, it's not bad. As you can see, it's got Speed Up, Speed M, Speed S, Skill Trigger S, Sleep EXP bonus that stacks well with Suicune. I forgot to say that about my Slowking again. Like, Sleep EXP bonus on a Suicune team is a good idea. Yeah, this Eevee, wowzy. It's probably among the better Eevees I've found. Helping bonus, Berry Finding S, Skill Trigger S, Helping Speed S, and ingredients down. So that stacks well with that Berry Finding. If I am to go for another evolution, I really want it to be skill stacked and not this berry build. So probably just going to tuck this away in my bag. Maybe a Leafeon or something gets a buff someday and we'll go like, whoa. Yeah. Okay, so here's the Dodrio that I wanted to talk about, but then I remembered I wanted to go through these Pokemon in order. This Dodrio was caught as a Doduo. It was just a random capture. I have been kind of hunting Doduo, and I've really wanted a Dodrio for a while. I just haven't found it. And then this shows up as Berry Finding, Helping Speed M, Speed of Up, Help Nature. And it's just very solid. I even like the energy recovery bonus. Sometimes that can be good if you just want to do a short nap or something and you put on an incense, then you get a lot of energy back. Like, for example, this week, if it had not been an event week, I would have probably had use of that energy recovery bonus, especially with my Walrein as well. It has it too. So at that point, I don't even have to waste the incense. I can hold those off to whenever there is an event that requires those. So they're released on the primary account here for the pay to win. It doesn't matter too much with the energy recovery incense, but on the free-to-play accounts, on the other hand, those I need to hold off on because they can be useful. And also, they can be used during those events quite specifically. So, let's have a look. I don't think there's anything else here too interesting. I did find a Fuecoco. That is triple apple. And I just don't know yet if I want to invest in it. I kind of just want to hold off a little bit. I will be building a Topalo team, so I probably will come across a lot of opportunities to catch more Fuecoco. It's got energy recovery bonus, skill trigger S, research EXP bonus, inventory. It's got a rash nature though, so to an extent, it kind of meets the bar of where I want the mono ingredient lists to be. So I may end up just spending more resources on other hunts. It's just Skeledirge is actually a really strong Pokemon, despite the fact that it is farming a very low value ingredient. You can see the ingredient rate is 26.8% and is decently fast. 45 is not bad. And the skill rate is 6.2% with the Charge Energy S, which is similar to the Altaria, except it has 2 evolutions. So to an extent, I do think that if I just keep going, potentially, hopefully, sometime in the future, unless I get desperate, I could find a triple ingredient or a mono apple Fuecoco with maybe 2 ingredients up. Like, if I can get that nature ingredients up and that ingredient M someplace in the first 3 slots, I'm going to be super happy. Because once you have 26.5% on that ingredient rate, when you stack all of those factors, it's like 1.5 to 1.8, depending on whether you find nature and 2 ingredient sub-skills, or if you find nature and then 1. 1.8 times 26 is almost 50%. So every other drop, you're going to get ingredients. And if it's a mono ingredient Pokemon that you got to level 60, eventually that's going to be ridiculous. So that's essentially the idea there. Yeah, for Coco, Soup Dog, we talked a lot about. The Gengar here is a new investment. I am super happy that I found this because it gives me more time to hunt the Quagsire. Got the Research EXP bonus, Helping bonus, Ingredient Finder S, Ingredient Up Nature, Berry Finding, correct ingredient list, double mushrooms. Speed of Help down is a little bit of a ding, but, you know, Ingredient Finder M eventually with a sub-skill seed, and Ingredient Finding Up Nature, that's 1.5x. And then with the Helping bonus and Berry Finding on a Gengar is really, really, really strong. And Gengar overall too, as I mentioned earlier, is among the best Pokemon in the game still, despite the fact that its ingredient list has been power corrupted twice, first with the Dragonite and then with Quagsire. But yeah, another starred Eevee. This is interesting. What is this all about? Helping bonus, Berry Finding S, skill level up S, with the main skill chance up Nature. Speed of help down don't matter too much because of that helping bonus, kind of neutralizing it. Main skill chance up is always nice on the Eevees. And the Berry Finding. Not bad. Okay. Yeah. This is my Slacking. I can't believe I managed to find this after being so negative on the Slacking. Skill Trigger S, Skill Trigger M, main skill chance up Nature. It is the best combo you can potentially have for a skill specialist. Slacking is Berry Specialist, which is a little bit unfortunate now after this banked double trigger update, because despite the fact that it has the skill rate of a strong skill specialist of this ingredient magnet main skill, it just won't get that double trigger. So you kind of have to pay attention to it. It also has a very low inventory. 12 is ridiculously low. A lot of final evolutions that have 2 prior evolutions typically end up around 30. And you can see here it's just got 22. I do like that inventory at level 75 if I end up using this long term. And then maybe I can get some additional inventory from the sleep time. So with a helping speed M2 at level 50, it's just, this is among, like, even though this is C tier in my opinion, not quite D tier overall, I don't like Slacking. It's too much to, like, it's awkward, ingredient rate too high, frequency too slow, the wrong category of the specialty, even though berries, double berries is kind of good, but you want to focus on the main skills here if you're ever going to use the Slacking. The berry finding potential on the Slacking is way higher on the Vigoroth. You can see it's also the berry specialty, but it's way faster. And it's also got a way lower ingredient rate, which is one of the bigger differences between the two. So yeah, I am just going to keep this in my bag. Whenever I get a candy boost that I don't know where to place, I'm going to fuel it into this one, and eventually it'll hit level 50, give it a sub-skill seed, maybe dump a couple main skill seeds into it, and it could be a pretty strong Pokemon at Taupe Hollow. Okay, let's see. Do we have any others? This was a little bit funny. So I found the shiny Riolu, and Pokemaster Pook said that he would piece together a video of everyone's shiny. So they wanted a screenshot of it. So naturally, you screenshot the Pokemon like this. And so I decided to plug my own channel just to be funny. This Riolu is not usable at all, despite the fact it has skill level up M, skill level up S, Berry Finding, Sleep EXP bonus. It's just in the wrong order. It's not very focused on the skills, despite those 2 free main skill seeds. So it is what it is. And then I don't think the Abomasnow video is out yet, so I haven't really had anyone comment on it. It's currently for YouTube members, and most YouTube members, in my experience, you guys watching, tend to comment in the Discord instead. So yeah, it's funny. But yeah, double eggs, Berry Finding S, inventory, helping speed, but the speed of help down Nature is a little bit of an oof to me on a Pokemon such as Abomasnow. I may end up going for this eventually, maybe if I give up on the Delibird. I don't think I will. At this point, it's just funny to keep going because I have so many Delibird. And at this point, I want to hop into the candy jar. because there is a point here that I think we could elaborate on in the next couple of videos, just discussing it, I think, because when we evaluate Pokemon on a meta relevance basis, we tend to assume that all Pokemon are equal in their availability of candies. And I never really heard the argument of, well, Rattata is a good Pokemon to go for because you get ridiculous volumes of the candy. I also find that Jigglypuff is crazy. The difference here is I have spent some Slowpoke candy on my Slowbro, and I also have a level 50 Wigglytuff. So the Jigglypuff candy is very, very high. And then we can see Rattata I've caught a lot, but I haven't invested. Gulpin caught a lot, haven't invested. Chikorita haven't invested as much into catching, but I think that's just the friend list. And then I don't know if there are any other here that really surprised me. But for sure, the Slowpoke and the Jigglypuff is just, I don't understand why I have this much candy off them. They just seem to show up a lot more often than they should. Same with the Rattata to an extent, but way more so on the Slowpoke. Like, I don't understand why it's so much candy. And then at the very bottom here, we can see I'm out of Larvitar candy. Basically no Mr. Mime candy. That is very, very rare. And when people find Mr. Mime, they don't send the candy because it's probably a B or C tier Pokemon. I would probably put it in the B tier. It's not bad, but it's very hard to race. And yeah, I do have a level something 30 Mr. Mime. Diglett out, Entei out, Ghastly out. Those are the Pokemon that I'm currently actively working on. And yeah, have some Ditto candy now. I am working towards that level 75 on my Tails Ditto. And so, yeah, hopefully you found this bag deep dive. Speaking of Ditto candy, it's really looking forward to level 75. I'm getting Ingredient Finder M at that point in time, and that's going to be really, really strong, comboed with everything else. And so despite the fact that I was unable to catch anything today, I hope you enjoyed this video and that you are looking forward to the free-to-play episode coming later today. So see you guys later today or tomorrow, depending on which videos you choose to watch. Thank you for watching.